Yankee Doodle went to London just to ride a pony. Stuck a feather in his cabin, called it macaroni. Yankee Doodle. You know what's really bad? I actually don't know the words to Yankee Doodle. Hi, everyone. This is We Are a Crotchety Old Man,
And a woman.
the podcast for you, with you, and sometimes even about you. We're still celebrating the 4th of July, even for our British fans, where can't wait till I could say our European fans. But so far, we still have our people in Europe, in England, that listen to us. And but what's not, I don't think it's that big in Europe. Um, Abigail, are you still enjoying your national fried chicken?
Well, I finished it. It was delicious.
So we had for National Fried Chicken Day, we had KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, and my God, it was expensive. Like, there's only two of us, and for two people at KFC should not be close to $40. I mean, that was insane, and it wasn't like we both got like four sides or anything else. We both got like the single meals. We didn't get like extra white meat or anything that cost extra. I don't know. Anyway, we went
Well,
out.
Arden, yesterday we went to the little diner and had sandwiches essentially, and it was over $50.
Sandwiches. We're not talking 12-inch long subs. They were just simple sandwiches with French fries on the side. That's insane.
It really is.
Yeah, yeah. So, with that, Abigail and I, were challenged, dun dun dun, to an eating contest by my brother, Mr. Fun, and his two partners in crime. See, they have a podcast called Talk About with Biff Lucky and Mr. Fun. And they had an eating contest where they had to eat 12 hot dogs, 12 donuts, and drink 12 beers within 30 minutes. And my brother, Mr. Fun, called and said, yeah, let's see you and Abigail and any of your friends try to meet that. And Abigail, what did you say?
Game on.
Game on. We are ready. So, Mr. Fun and all of you over at Talk About with Biff, Lucky, and Mr. Fun, we are going to match that. In fact, we may even exceed it. We just have to find a third person. But that's in the works. So, if any of our fans, I'm reaching out to you, Mr. N in New York, Jerome in DC, Alfred, Daniel, any of you guys. If you want to join in and be our third person, we're going to kick their asses, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So now back to normal business at hand. So this day in history, kind of interesting, more on the birthday part, but but in 1535, an English statesman, Thomas More, was beheaded for refusing to accept King Henry VIII as the head of the Church of England. So that happened, pretty fascinating. So, because it's not like the Catholic Church, they have the Church of England over there, and that's our little shout out to England. This was very interesting. In 1747 was John Paul Jones, not the bassist of Led Zeppelin, but the father of the American Navy. And just 2 seconds about him. Uh, One of the most underrated like people you hear about in American history. He's most famous for there was a British ship that was attacking his ship, and it looked like he was going to be defeated. And the captain of the British ship yelled to take down your colors, and he's famous for yelling, "No, sir, we have not yet begun to fight." Not only did he not take down his colors, but actually won the day and took the British captain, then went on to wreak havoc on British shipping all over. He actually went to England with he was the only American uh, ship's captain to go to England and sink ships over there. Very fascinating. He's got a small monument actually in Washington, D.C., but it's very rarely gone to. But John Paul Jones, his crypt is actually in Annapolis. So John Paul Jones, I recommend watch the movie. You learn amazing things about the father of the American Navy. 1933, Major League's first All-Star game, Major League Baseball's first All-Star game. Babe Ruth hits a home run in it. In 1946, President George W. Bush was born. Some people love him, some people don't like him. This one actually, I've never heard of this person, so I found this very interesting. In 1957, Athena Gibson was the first black woman to win in Wimbledon. Never heard of her. You heard Jackie Robinson, and yeah, but that was interesting. And sticking with the women's side, in 1976, the first woman was inducted, I'm sorry, into the U.S. Naval Academy. Congratulations. I did not write your name down. That is really sad on my part.
Arden, you blew it.
I blew it. So while I'm completely shamed, Abigail, what's going on in sports?
Oh, there's a lot going on in sports. Well, you told me about this one that the Pirates hit 7 home runs against the Mets, and apparently they light fireworks after each home run. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And yeah, because they had 7, apparently they ran out of fireworks. And Arden told me that they had to apologize over the PA to the fans that they ran out of fireworks. When was this? Was
This
this
was
actually on the 4th of July or?
it was actually 2 days ago. So was that the fourth? No, right. It was like no, I'm sorry. It was the third. It was the third. Now
That's
it
so
had only
pathetic.
happened 4 other times in Pirate history where they hit 7 runs, so they were completely ill prepared. And on the scoreboard, it actually said, "We are deeply saddened to all of our fans that we've run out of fireworks. Go Bucks!" So that
So,
was pretty fun.
yeah, that's pretty bad. I mean, you don't have much faith in your team if, you know, you're only gonna get, I mean, 7 home runs, I guess, is a lot in one game, but still, you have more money than God. You should have more fireworks than you need.
Well, I don't know. But they did win. I guess that's the most important. And they rose the Jolly Roger because they won. And we all know who that was from. Do you remember from last week's episode about the pirate?
Yes.
John Rackham. Yeah, Pirate Rackham. Captain Rackham, that was his flag, and that's what they raise every time the Pirates win.
All right. Well, how about the NHL draft? I don't pay attention to that stuff,
Uh,
so.
as a Ranger fan, there wasn't much going on because they draft so late. But I mean, there was no trades, but it was at the Sphere. First drafted the Sphere in Las Vegas. So it was amazing how big these people were. So when you were driving on the highway and you could actually look up and see all the players be drafted, that was pretty amazing.
Okay. Well, here I go on a tangent, but I
Uh-oh,
can't help
there
it.
she goes. I love these tangents.
All right. So at the US Olympic trials, a 29-year-old non-binary runner, I'm sorry, that runner's performance qualified, quote, them for the 2024 Paris Olympics. This person, Nikki Hiltz, a transgender sprinter, set the world record for the 1,500-meter sprint. Okay?
Okay,
And
I'm trying to
essentially,
follow.
essentially, this person beat a 2021 record by almost 3 seconds. Now, Arden, you tell me. I thought you told me that the NCAA was the ones that were allowing this kind of stuff to happen. But now I'm
In
seeing
the
this in the
U.S.
Olympic trials. So what's going on with that?
I'm actually even more confused than you are because wasn't the woman from what was it, Pitt, who was woman man, the transgender swimmer who was breaking all the records was not allowed to compete.
I don't know. All I know is this world's going crazy.
I mean, it really is. I mean, like it's not fair to all the women who work their asses off and have a guy, and this is my personal opinion, that this person who was, like he may have been like the 100th best sprinter, and now he's the best. He's in the women's range. I mean, it's just not
And
fair to them.
yeah, and he's 29 years old too. I mean, I would imagine most of the Olympic runners are younger.
I
Uh,
that I couldn't tell you. I don't
yeah,
know
I
anything
don't
about
know.
it.
All I know is when they write non-binary runners performance qualified, quote, them for
Right,
2024 Paris Olympics. Give me a break.
all right, but not the swimmer. That person was not allowed.
I
I
guess
don't.
so.
Yeah, I
So
don't know. They're
yeah,
conflicting.
it's a bunch of bullshit, and I've been through it before, and I guess I'll just move on to the next topic.
Go ahead.
So this one's in honor of your Yankees,
Oh, okay.
Arden. First Yankee rookie today, Ben Rice, hit 3 home runs in 1 game. But
First,
that's not the end of the story, is it, Arden?
you could. I want to hear the rest.
Well, I think you told me he came up from the minors or something like that.
He was only in Double A a couple weeks ago. Double A, played a couple games at Triple A. Guy gets injured, comes up, and he hit a home run yesterday. So he has 4 home runs in 2 days. I mean, he's
That's
on
pretty
fire.
amazing.
He's the happiest kid in the world. And he was born and lived in Massachusetts, but was not a Red Sox fan. He's actually a Yankee fan. And during today's game, after his third home run, he didn't know how to take a curtain call. Didn't know how to. So all
Yeah, I
the
did
players,
catch that.
the players had to like show him what to do, and he was so embarrassed that he just smiled and like sort of like waved his helmet, and just meekly went back in. And it's just great. That's the beauty of sports. That's awesome when it's not about money. It's not about all the glam. It's a young kid just like from nowhere. I mean, not he wasn't from nowhere. He's a good hitter, but you know, I mean, he's in New York facing the Red Sox. I mean, this game could go down in history for this kid. I mean, it's fascinating. Like as a huge Yankee fan. Sorry, I'm going on a tangent. As a Yankee fan, like you remember these things for years and years and years. Like if I had grandkids, I would tell them about this game. That's how big that is.
And then they won like 14 to something, right?
About time. The Yankees have been sucking the tush a lot.
Yeah, but the score was like 14-4. What was it?
14-4, and it was actually they were 14-5. They were losing at one point, and then they went bonkers.
Hmm. Okay. Well, we're gonna move along to the WNBA. For those that don't know what that is, that's the Women's National Basketball Association.
Jerome
Their
needed to know.
All-Star game is coming up, and Arden and I learned something new and a nice little twist of what they're gonna do. Since the Olympics will be coming up, they're going to have Team USA, which does not include Caitlin Clark, play against the remaining WNBA All Stars, which Caitlin Clark is, along with Angel Reese. So I think it will be sweet justice if, when they play that game, that the All Stars beat the Olympic Team USA.
It would be good.
Caitlin Clark is the highest scorer. What do you think, Arden?
You know what? It would seal. Or you know what? Even if Reese does it, if she dominates, it would just show like, oops, I think we should have had both of these rookies on the Olympic team.
Speaking of rookies and rookie records, today Caitlin took on the New York WNBA team, who is got the #1 ranking, and the Liberty beat them. But get this, she is the first rookie to hit a triple double, meaning three, I'm sorry, double digits for all 3 areas. She had 19 points, 13 assists, and 12 rebounds.
Wow.
That's the first rookie in the entire WNBA history to reach that goal, or should I say achievement. And, once again, great game. She's an excellent ball player. And again, I'm looking forward to this All-Star game now. Usually I don't care for them, but this one's going to be interesting. So that's all I have from sports, Arden.
Well, now it's time for everyone's favorite part of our podcast, Ask Abigail. Now, this question comes from an anonymous person because she knows you very well. And so she didn't want to give her name. And she's probably mad that I said her because you probably know who it is. Anyway, Abigail, if you were the head of the DNC, the Democratic National Committee, would you? It's a two-part question. Would you keep Joe? By the way, this is if you had power. Would you keep Joe Biden in the race, or would you replace him, and with who and why?
Oh my God, you're asking me to think like a Democrat.
Yes, that was a good one.
Ugh. Okay, first of all, yeah, he's got to bow out. But we're not going to talk about if he should maintain his presidency until January 20th. I want him to do that. Um, but I'm a Democrat, so I
Yes,
got to
you're the
think like
head of the
that.
DNC.
So we're going to just focus on the nomination and who runs for president, okay?
Okay.
If I were the Democrats, I would put up a lady that ran against Joe Biden in the primary the last time. And I believe even prior to that, but I'm not sure. But she's a senator from Minnesota and her name is Amy.
Amy Klobuchar.
Yeah. You know why? Number one, she's a woman. But
Okay.
number two, she's kind of moderate. She's not this radical left-wing person. What do you think, Arden?
I have not seen her name anywhere, so wow, that's an amazing pick out of
Well,
nowhere.
I remember her because I always said, she would be a great candidate. She did very well on the debate stage. And, everybody's talking about Newsom. And my God, if they did Harris, that's a total loser. And again, I'm trying to come from a Democrat's perspective. If you want to win, you can't use Newsom. You can't use what's the lady from New York, Whitmer?
No, Gretchen Whitmer's from Michigan.
Okay, well you can't
Uh,
use her.
yeah, Kathy Hochul is the
Yeah, you
governor. Yeah,
can't
she's
use
not in the
her.
running.
They need to bring Amy out
Right. Or
and shock
they can
the world.
they could dust off Clinton again, and then there's Michelle. There's always Michelle.
No, no, no. I'm just saying that if they brought in Amy, she's, like a dark horse. She'd be coming from nowhere.
That really would be from nowhere. Wow,
Because
that's very
because the
impressive.
moderates, the moderate Democrats, I mean, right now that the Democratic Party has been taken over by the left wing establishment. And they need to come into the center if they're going to stand a chance. But but again, I'm not a Democrat. I want to make that very clear to everyone. So, Arden, I thought like one for a few minutes, and I hope you accept my answer.
Did your head hurt now?
It actually does a little.
Okay, well, hopefully our mutual friend, is satisfied with that answer. So, we have been, we had a little interesting thing going on. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot we were going to do, we finally got to watch Oppenheimer the other day. And there was a lot of hype about it, how great it was, how it was an amazing movie. I got to admit, Abigail and I got halfway through it, and we were just like, okay, like it was too artsy fartsy for me. What about for you?
Yeah, it was just a little all over the place. And yeah, I mean, midway through, they barely built the damn town.
Yeah, if you don't know anything about Oppenheimer, this is not a spoiler. He was actually ran the Manhattan Project that had the atomic bomb, that developed the atomic bomb, and this was all about him. Now, I don't know much about him, so I mean, actually, that part was interesting, but it was how it was made. It was like the whole thing was about four different time periods, and they kept doing cutbacks back and forth. So there's times you're just like, who, how, where? Like it got a little I don't want to say confusing, but it wasn't enjoyable for me. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, everybody made such a big deal about it, and maybe if we had watched the last hour and a half, we would have changed our mind, but it was a no-go for me.
Yeah, I mean, I will watch the end of it because I don't know anything. I going in, I didn't know anything about Oppenheimer, and I did learn, but at the same time, it was so painful for me to watch it. But anyway, um, it was the 4th of July, and the other day, America's Independence Day, or the little dust up we had with the British, according to them. But the trouble with the other side of the pond. But we kind of, how did we spend our 4th of July, Abigail, and why?
I feel terrible. It was basically a day of fasting because I had to do a capsule endoscopy on Friday. So Thursday I had to be on a liquid diet. Arden graciously joined me in the fasting process. Or should I say liquid diet? I think I had about 10 cups of coffee. How about you, Arden?
I had so much black coffee; it was disgusting. God, I don't drink black coffee, but I
Well, you did it for me and I appreciate it. And a little jello and a little chicken broth. But yeah, he took me up to Loudon and I got the nurse laid out this pretty box with this pill that was lit up in neon blue and I swallowed it and then I just had to go home and had a data recorder and this capsule went through my entire digestive system taking I think they said 8 pictures every second while it traveled through my body for 8 hours. So that's a lot of pictures.
you know what was amazing? Like I am such a nerd. I was like, wow. First of all, it's blinking when she swallows it. Just blink. I guess that was taking pictures. And they had her wear like if you remember the 70s, do you remember the old cassette recorders where you had to press the two buttons, you had to hit play and record? And some people used to could actually wear those. It looked like a small version of that because she had to wear it. Or if you're a nerd like myself and watch Star Trek, where Dr. McCoy always had that little rectangle thing in his hand to measure people and tell, that's what it was like. And so I was more fascinated by the whole experience. But that's how we spent the 4th of July.
Yeah, so everyone else was cooking out and we couldn't eat, basically.
Yeah, but man, and then we like had our little tiny bread and soup on the actual 5th of July. And then we finally started eating, and then we knew we are gonna have some KFC today, so we're eating our faces off. I did lose a pound, maybe 2 pounds of fasting, and I've gained it all back plus.
So I can honestly say this was the lowest 4th of July I've ever had. But I was thinking about my childhood and one of my favorite memories. Do you have any, Arden?
I have a few, but you can go ahead because you know me, I talk forever.
Okay. Well, my dad had a 1971 Ford F-150. We called it Big Blue. And I guess I was around maybe 11 years old maybe. And back then, the neighborhood kids were the neighborhood kids. We had fun. We played outside every day. And he loaded up a bunch of us into the back of the pickup truck. He was probably drinking a Miller Lite, and he
While
drove
driving.
us he drove us down to Route 50. And again, I believe we even went on the Beltway. And there's at least 10 of us in the back of this truck. And if you got in an accident, it would be all over, right, Arden?
Right, not allowed to do that anymore.
But anyway, he parked along Route 50 and we had a perfect view of the Washington Monument. And we just sat there and watched the fireworks. And it was really, really awesome.
But that's a beautiful memory.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even have to fight the crowd or anything.
Nice.
And fortunately, we all made it home alive.
Well, my first not my first memory of the 4th, but the one when you asked me about this, I kind of this is in the back of my mind, and it was so this is a little an embarrassing story. Hopefully, I don't get arrested for it. But Alfred and I, back in college, we were even. I think we were maybe 20 or 19. We did a lot of drinking, and we went to DC to watch the fireworks. We got there very early, and we were standing by the Capitol building. Now, it was kind of weird because we were kind of on the side of the Capitol, and the way they had the fireworks, that like there was a like they had the band and the artillery. We were actually by the artillery pieces, and I had a little too much to drink, and I had to pee really, really badly. And the only place that was kind of out of view at the time was the Capitol stairs. There were some bushes by the Capitol stairs, so I actually peed on the Capitol building. I'm, I am a
That that is so disgusting.
well. It wasn't a January 6th. It was a July 4th.
You should be very ashamed. And
Um,
your mom's gonna hear that.
yeah, I know. Well, sorry. So I peed on the Capitol. Um, so, but it's now more of a pleasant memory. My brother, when the kids were little, when my nieces and nephews were little, nephew was little, I was the guy in charge of the fireworks display. So I actually had them all lined up, and all the neighborhood kids were coming over, and we would light them every year. Well, one year we actually did it really well. I built this nice little thing with rocks and everything to make sure that the fireworks were safe. And the neighbor across the street, just he like one of the parents was like, "Oh well, we got to be careful. We got to be careful. You know, it's safety, safety, safety. Should there be goggles? Are the kids far enough back?" The neighbor across the street goes, "It's okay, ma'am. I'm a brain surgeon. If anything happens, I can take care of it." Like he had probably like 6 beers in him, and he was like, "I'm a brain surgeon. I'll take care of the kids. Don't worry about if one of the fireworks gets knocked over and hits them." But I actually heard a story today, that I didn't know. Growing up in New Jersey, even when we were younger, fireworks, like real fireworks, were always illegal. But you can get them in New York or Pennsylvania, like firecrackers and those types of things. But by the time I was in my 20s, everything was illegal, including sparklers. Even the ones that you actually take, those little ones where they're wrapped in paper and you just throw them on the ground, they snap.
No way.
Those were illegal.
No
It was
way.
considered an explosive. And my mom actually told me today that she went to Target and saw that they sold fireworks now in New Jersey. Don't remember now. They've had a couple Democrat governors, so I'm kind of surprised that they actually are now selling fireworks in New Jersey now.
Well, you said you set it up for your niece and nephews, and sorry, your nieces and your nephew
Yep.
in Maryland. I thought they were always illegal
Well,
in
I
there.
bought them in New Jersey. Once again, I'm breaking the
Oh,
law. I'm actually driving across state lines. So I'm breaking laws all over the place. I'm peeing on the Capitol. By the way, we had quite a bunch of DC listeners this week, last week, where we had more than ample amount. So hopefully we're not getting into trouble. But it was years ago. So I guess what's it called when the time expires on breaking the law? That was me.
the statute of limitations.
Yeah, no, statue of that. Yeah, so hopefully I can't get arrested for bringing fireworks across state lines and lighting them in front of minors. Oops. Yeah,
Okay, so Arden, I think you can take on the last segment and we can sign off soon.
yeah, so we are a hint over a month away from the third annual Joe Shire Memorial Balls Championship. And this goes out to some of the people who participate in it. And I actually had a vision that this would actually become not just a fun little time event, but I actually, if we can get this podcast big enough, I would like this to become a major event where we actually like run it as a charity. Like that's how big I would like this to be. And it's basically bocce on the beach, where I'll go into it much more for much more details as we get closer to the North Carolina trip. But we need people's help. We need for people to actually pass along who we are if you like the show. We are international, so feel free to pass it along to other countries. We still have not had anyone in Africa or Asia, or we've had South America, we've had Australia, New Zealand, England, but we need more people to listen to our show. This way we can finally have pizza because you
Yeah,
get pizza.
don't forget about Costa Rica.
Oh yes, and Costa Rica as well. We're all over the world. It's really nice. And for all those people from Washington D.C. who listened last week, who are going to come out here and arrest Abigail, have a great day. And what's another patriotic song to sing?
Oh,
Come
I
on.
don't.
God bless
No,
America.
don't stop. Just
Uh,
stop right now.
okay. Well, thank you, everyone. CJO, we're hopefully going to be. He might be actually wanting. He wants to record for us live.
I
So,
think that's the way to go.
so we're. That's why we haven't been playing him. He was very disappointed with his music. So he literally just said, "Yeah, I don't play that anymore." Oh,
Well,
hold on one
hold
sec.
on,
We
hold
have a
on.
caller. We have a caller. Hold on. Hey, Mr. Fun, you're live on our podcast. I don't know if they can hear me, but yeah. So Mr. Fun is interrupting the podcast, and so just say hi.
I'm sorry, Mr. Fun. I cannot hear you.
He can't hear you. The volume is too low. So hold on. I'm making. No, I guess he said, "Do your thing and have fun." All right, I'm hanging up now. Wow, that was funny. Wow, I guess cell phones don't work when you hold them up to a microphone with
That's
people.
really crazy. I'm gonna have to figure that one out.
Yeah, so that I won't sing now. My Mr. Fun took it all away.
Well,
Anyway,
I want you to tell everybody about X because now Arden is posting pictures of my dogs.
yeah.
So
So
I expect a lot more likes.
yeah, yeah. So you can reach out to us at on X or Twitter if you still are at crotchety old men. That's at crotchety old men. I'm posting lots of pictures of our littlest and youngest listeners. And today we did bark at the park, so you could do bark at the park pictures. You could see Toto and Benji, and they're crotchety old dogs too. And you could also reach us. You could still send us emails. That's where we get most of our people, but and it still is we are crotchety old men at gmail.com. We are crotchety old men at gmail.com. And once again, on X it is at crotchety old men. We'd love to hear from you. I know we hear from some people, and that's how we just got our question for Ask Abigail, because that's feel free, you could ask us. We would like you to join us as well. Maybe you could take part in our hot dog eating contest or whatever we decide to eat that day. Well, for Abigail and I, thank you, everyone. And I can't wait for next week. Have a great
All
day.
right. Have a good night.